And hello, we're here today again on the 5-Minute Bark, and I'll tell you what, this is really exciting for me here today. It's actually come as a complete surprise, and I'm still shocked just to be here today with this next guest. Many years ago, here over in La Jolla, I had a neighbor, and he had 2 sons, and I grew up with these guys, and now he's an older person here today, and he's on my show, and I just can't even believe that I'm introducing this person here today. His name is James Heller here, the starter of Wrapify, which we'll talk about a little later on here today. But James, say hello to everybody.
Dennis, thanks for having me on your show. I'm really stoked to be here.
Yeah, so James is just a young kid over here, and he was my neighbor, and I used to constantly say, hey, what's going on? Ride bikes with him, make jumps for him. And later on, I just can't even believe he's here today in the studio with me. And it's just so exciting to see what he's become. And so we're going to share that with you guys here today. James, tell everybody a little about yourself.
Sure. So San Diego native, lived here my whole life. I've been pretty entrepreneurial from a really young age, and I'm now starting on my 3rd startup. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. Absolutely love being outside and doing everything I can to make it a reality for me in the future. So James grew up here in La Jolla and then moved to Escondido and became a dirt bike enthusiast. Just loved going out on the track. He had the space out there. From what I understand, you had a new home out there in Escondido. We did.
And what happened?
Yeah. So my family grew up in La Jolla. I shared a bedroom with my brother in a little condo, and the family decided that we'd like to move into a house with some land, and we decided, as a family, we're going to move up to do that. So when I was about 13 years old, we moved from La Jolla up to Escondido, and I definitely don't regret that at all.
Yeah. And rode bikes, got excited about it, dirt bikes and so on and so forth, and I heard you took that to quite a level.
Yeah. So my brother and I were really into racing BMX, and that's how Dennis and I connected at an early age, and took that into riding racing motocross, and then now I've transferred some of that passion into other forms of motorsport.
Yeah, and racing cars now, correct? Right?
I try to.
So the reason we're here today is I was at lunch with one of our other guests the other day, and we were just talking about how I saw a wrapped car on the side of the street, and this company had a restoration company. I was like, they had a really cool wrap, and I was talking about this wrap, and the husband came along and said, you know what, my friend just started this company called Wrapify, and I'm like, okay, well, great, and he's telling me about it, and I really was kind of going in one ear and sort of out the other, but I did hear what he was saying, and then we ended lunch, came back here, recorded the podcast, and sure enough, a Wrapify car shows up in my parking lot, and I'm like, I just found out about this like 2 hours ago. So he's like, well, yeah, it's James Heller that started this company. I'm like, James Heller? The little kid I used to know from next door? It's like, yeah, James Heller. He used to work at Scale Matrix. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I got to call James. So that's how he's on the show here today. This complete coincidence. And I'm sure you've kind of seen things like that happen in your life where just like these paths just get set in motion right in front of you, and just here we are today. So I cannot stop talking to James here because I am a very passionate person about starting up growth startups and so on and so forth, and technology and stuff. So we just have so much to share, and we're going to talk maybe a little bit about that later. But we talked about something earlier, James, that really what got you going and the goals, and you kind of talked about a goal sheet you designed of your life and kind of what kind of catapulted you going forward to where you're going today.
Sure. So at a really young age, I started doing a lot of entrepreneurial activities as a teenager, started my own business, my own consulting firm, and then that led me to go work in the self-help and wellness industry. And some of the things that I took from that were, you got to make sure you put your goals on paper or somewhere, some recorded fashion. And what we were talking about earlier is creating a goal chart.
Right.
And that has made a huge difference in my life. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I hopped on my computer and I pulled up an Adobe Illustrator file because
of all files to use to create a goal sheet.
I used Illustrator because I can't draw, and it was really easy for me to do it that way. And I put every single one of the life goals I wanted on a timeline, specific financial goals, family goals, career goals, education goals, and other personal growth goals. And I spent a substantial amount of time doing it. It's one of those things where it sounds like, oh yeah, I could spend a couple minutes putting together a goal chart, and you end up spending a lot of time. It actually is a lot harder than it sounds. I finished the thing up and put that file away. Didn't really look at it, didn't consult it, just kind of stuck it on my computer in the documents folder. And 3 years later, I opened the thing up and I just had this like almost, it was a scary feeling, like holy shit.
You accomplished everyone on
almost every single thing on that goal chart happened to a T. And it was like I put this path into motion, this subconscious path, and it's something that I advise all my friends
to do
and peers to do, because when you do that, you create this subconscious program for yourself.
And you don't even know it.
And you're not even aware of it. But when you spend that time crafting and creating it, it really helps out. It really makes sure it really helps put you and set you into that path. And it's been something that's really helped me in my own personal growth.
And I try to tell everybody all the time that you can make this goal sheet, just like you said, you're not even probably ever going to look at it. You just make it, and you spent like 3 days doing it, and you're going to make it, and you're probably just going to stuff it away somewhere and just forget about it like you did. And you're going to go back and you're going to realize you hit every goal. I have to kind of really put that out there, everybody, that we make goals and we accomplish them. You never really feel like you've gotten your goals accomplished because you're already on to the next set of goals. So you accomplish those goals and you didn't even get a chance to appreciate, like, wow, I accomplished these goals. And you're like, but that's no big deal because I'm already on to other goals.
Right.
And that's kind of what happens in the evolution of being a human being. It's like if you want to grow or be or do something, you're going to put goals out there, but you're never really going to kind of see them happen. And we never really even get a chance to celebrate them. And now you're on to bigger and better things. Where are your goals going now?
So I started with, because I was still in college when I first started this thing, I was working through college. I started with some education and some financial goals and some career goals, buying my first house at 21. All that stuff it happened like clockwork. And I realized I need to get really a lot more finite and granular with the goals, like a little bit more descriptive and when exactly they're going to happen. So right now, my biggest goal is building Wrapify into being a huge success.
Right.
Now, one of the other things that I definitely like to mention when I did this, and the part of making this goal chart that actually is really difficult, is it's really easy to say, oh, well, I want to be really wealthy by age 30, but if you put like a specific dollar amount, like how much is a lot? Because a lot of money is
a lot of money.
Is a lot of money.
There's no number.
But if you put if it's 5 million, then you're never going to make more than 5 million. If it's 500,000, you're never going to make any more than 500,000. Right. So assign like a real tangible numbers. That makes a huge difference. All the goals that I made that were soft were definitely ones that were harder for me to achieve because it wasn't a mental program that I just placed for myself.
It was just general.
Right. So when I created really, really granular, when I was really finite and granular with those goals, those ones got checked off the list much quicker. Very
quickly. You were talking. There was something you really brought up before. There was such it hit me really hard, and you said something about wanting and having, or wanting and having it. I want you to really explain it to me. Explain it to the audience of how you explain it to me, because it's a deal breaker in like achieving things. And I want to share it so bad.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned in my previous career with the self-help and self-wellness is, and this is something that I also hit me very hard, is you can't want and have at the same time. It's like trying to sit and stand at the same time. You can't do it. So you can't have if you're still wanting. So if you get rid of wanting, you can start having. So instead of being focused on the feeling of wanting all the time, I just decided that I'd be determined on how to get to having. So that wanting and having make a clear difference. Try not to want and have.
Right. I mean, the initial want comes along, but you got to go right into have.
Right.
They say you got to want something, and in order to have it, you have to allow it to come into your life. You have to accept that it's actually going to come.
You have to let it.
Yeah, you have to let it come. I mean, the new word of the day, like nowadays, everybody's talking is like allowing and just having it just come to you, or even You just said again.
Allow
it to come.
Exactly. So if you're wanting, you're not allowing it
Right.
to yourself to have.
Right.
And that's one of the things that definitely resonated with me. It's made a huge difference in my life. It's allowed me to have all the things that I have the relationships, have the physical things. All of that has been a direct result of creating those goals, creating that goal chart, and stop wanting and start having.
We talked also before, because I'm really excited about how to raise money and so on and so forth for companies, and a lot of people like don't even know where to even begin. And we kind of talked back and forth, and I really share the same views with James here today, because I am a person. In my last episode, actually on Made in America, we had talked about my issues with planning and how I just can't plan my day out. I have friends who have they know what they're doing 3 weeks from now at 3:00, and I just can't do that. I live by the seat of my pants, so to speak. And I've tried to, for the last 4 or 5 months, tried to be a planner. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just be these kind of people, but I've never worked in corporate America. I've never used a planner. I never used a calendar. I just lived. Although I can show up at meetings on time and so on and so forth. But back to raising money, and we were talking about, James, I'm building this business plan, and it's kind of a free flowing one. And you kind of agreed, you didn't really have to go out and make this complex business plan to go raise money for your company. You aligned yourself or had the right network around you. So
right.
Why don't you share a little bit about that? That's pretty big.
Sure. Well, my name's James. I was named after the city, San Diego. Diego is James in Spanish, for a lot of people that don't know that. This city is my city. So I've been able to build a really amazing network within the technology space, and just in general. San Diego's a pretty small town. There's only 2 lines of separation.
Right.
And in our case, there was exactly 2 lines of separation between 3 weeks ago and me sitting here on this show.
Right.
So knowing the right people is definitely important. Knowing who to align yourself with to get the social credence that you need to be able to raise that money is definitely probably one of the most important things. But I'd say the most important thing is to have an amazing product.
Right.
If you don't have an amazing product, it's really hard to raise money around just an amazing idea. So, but there is a middle area. Right. And that middle area is where I've lived up until a few weeks ago when we were raising the money for Wrapify. So going into that, when you're raising money, or at least in my experience, the first step is align yourself with the right people.
The right people.
Also know where the right people are. In some cases, they might not be in San Diego. They might be in other parts of the country.
Right.
So know where the right people are for the industry that you're trying to occupy. Second is build a product that is something that the market wants. And then
you keep hearing that over and over again too. It's this is my idea, but no, does the company, the masses want it?
Right. Yeah, the market will ultimately decide if your product or your company is worth its weight in salt. But for us, the biggest thing was the fact that we're not just providing economic value to advertisers, and we'll talk more about my product here in a little bit, but we're also providing a lot of economic value to consumers. We're actually making a lot of consumers' lives better because we're helping them make and augment their income by doing something that they're already doing.
Right. It's just such an exciting concept. Like I said, we might even try to go into detail we might talk about it here a little bit, but I just want to talk more about James and where he's come from to coming here today. And it's just such an amazing story. And, it just hit me right now that we share more of a similar story than we think, because I was talking to your dad the other day and I said, hey, that's, you're in that Wrapify. He's like, yeah, it's my son's company and I'm just driving this around. He didn't know anything of even concept of really what you're doing. And I used to travel around the world as a professional freestyle bike rider. I would go to Europe, South America, everything. And I look back and my dad didn't know where I was going either. He didn't know really anything about what I was. He didn't realize I was in magazines or on television or anything like that. So I kind of share a similar story to you that it's just I just went on and did my own thing and just kind of did it. And my family didn't even know what I was doing. And it kind of seems like the same situation with you. It's either they're not wanting to pay attention to it, or I don't know, but it just kind of brought it up.
Dennis just rides bikes.
Yeah. No, literally. I mean,
James he does things with technology and computers.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a clue of what you're about to create in this world. I mean, you're going to change how advertising is perceived in this world. It's happened before in brick and mortar ways, but now you're just taking it in the Uber way, so to speak, and bringing it to the world. And, you know, we both talked about it. I'm sure obviously you know that because you started the company, but it's really going to revolutionize how things happen.
Yeah, that's the goal. We're trying to change the face of outdoor advertising.
And I told him, you don't even have a clue of what your son is doing right now. He's like, well, thank you, Dennis. You know, I gotta go rent this condo right now. Do you want to rent yours? You want to sell? So, but yeah, so I had the same thing. Like finally my dad actually ended up coming to England with me on a tour and kind of really recognized who I was when he actually showed up to the event. And here I am in the UK, and there's television, and there's commercials, and me, and people, and trophies, and money, you know, and he's like, wow, this is really what he was doing. But he never knew, like, I don't even think they even knew where I was flying to half the time. And I was 16, 17, 18 years old, flying all over the world. And I don't even think they knew. They probably thought I was just down the street with my friends, you know. So it was just interesting that kind of connected right now. So you started a company, and you worked at other companies before that, and you said you were founded another company as well earlier before that. That was with another friend of mine, which is such a coincidence. And now you're back here at Wrapify. I mean, is there any advice you could give anybody that's trying to do similar what you have to do besides what we've already done? Any special advice?
I'd say the first thing is everybody else is gonna not want you to succeed. You're going to find that you'll even have friends or people you thought that you were friends that don't really want to see you succeed, because if you're succeeding, that means that they're not succeeding. So you're going to surface a lot of negativity, and don't let any of that negativity get to you. Just keep pushing. There are a lot of people that have pushed really, really hard with products that weren't that good, that have been
successful,
monumental successes. And what they were able to do was continue to push until they were able to make it.
Microsoft was never a great product. I mean, in the beginning.
Yeah.
It is now.
Sort of.
Yeah. You know, but he did the right things. I mean, Apple always had what we wanted, so to speak, but Windows was a little more liberal and so on and so forth. But at the beginning, they admit it. Like, it was buggy and so on and so forth, but they, obviously dominated their market because they had better marketing and more, they were open to more ideas, Right. You're open to more ideas with this company, and that's why I see the success coming forward.
Right. The other piece of the naysayers that you're going to get a lot of advice from everybody, and picking and choosing the right advice has been one of the things that's even tough for me today, because I'll get a lot of advice from people that have done it.
Right.
And sometimes it's not the right advice. Mm-hmm. So I'd say another piece of that is make sure you're picking and choosing and taking the right advice.
It has to resonate with you and right. What your life is. Yes, exactly. I totally agree with that, and it's something I struggle with a lot as well. Like, I'm obviously trying to start a company right now, and it's like, hey, do this. You know what? This is where I want to go, and it's really tough to stay on that path, because you do want to believe them, and you saw their track record. But a lot of, like we said, a lot of these people are one hit. Yeah. So it's tough. I want to talk about next about maybe like, is there any kind of morning ritual that you go through to kind of set your day to make this stimulation of success go on? Is there a morning ritual or something you do on a daily basis that's the same, that really empowers you?
So I've been very, very athletic my whole life. So in the morning, I go to the gym. I do cardio in the morning, every morning. I pretty much eat the same breakfast, eat the same egg whites, have the same cup of coffee, eat my vitamins.
Is it coffee or?
Oh, it's coffee.
Yeah. I've been doing the coconut coffee from Costco. It's really good.
Is it good?
Oh, it's so good.
Nice.
I don't know if I get that buzz.
I should pay you for that plug. That was a good plug.
Yeah, hey. I'll try that. I'm a sharing person. But yeah, I never drank coffee, but I started doing it now because I was doing Red Bulls, and I got a little too hyper with that. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to wean off of some of that.
So cardio, egg whites, coffee.
Yeah, and then just kill it all day. Work as hard as you can, and then I go back to the gym. I end my day at the gym.
So twice a day.
Yeah. So I do cardio in the morning and I lift at night.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. And do heavy weights or just a regular routine?
I used to lift heavy. I don't do that anymore. Yeah. Now it's just trying to maintain.
Yeah.
Back when I was working in corporate America, I gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting on the train. I was commuting from San Diego to Orange County every day on the train, and I'm just trying to get back to the norm I want to be at.
Right. So you're living in San Diego. Are you if this grows too big and they want you to move to Northern California, would you do it, or are you just going to stay here in San Diego?
So today I'm actually living in San Diego and San Francisco. So I'm bouncing between the two cities.
Oh, really? So you live up there part-time now?
We have a facility. We have our sales and marketing office out of San Francisco.
Wow.
And then operations and engineering stays in San Diego. This is always going to be a San Diego company, though.
Okay.
So I definitely want to drive that home. Got a lot of people asking about that. Now, this is a San Diego company.
Okay, great. Because it's, as it is, it's tough in that industry to stay here in San Diego, but your fight is to keep it here because that's where you're from.
There's a couple reasons. There's where I'm from, and then the other big piece of it too is there's a lot of great engineering talent here in San Diego.
Yep, there is.
And up in San Francisco, it's kind of the thing to do. So everybody's an engineer. So the talent pool in San Diego, it's very obvious if somebody's good and if somebody's not. While up there's kind of this gray area of talent. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason too is it's just the economics work much better for having your engineering team here in San Diego.
Right. All right. This question's tough to answer sometimes, but we're going to try. And I want you to kind of think deep and dig deep to try to find it. But at one point in your life, you're just like a regular human being, like everybody else. And then someday or some action or something happened that triggered you to change the direction you're going. So in other words, you might have been a corporate, again, we kind of just lost connection with each other. So I don't really know. I'm learning so much more about what happened with you, but is there a moment in time that just said, I'm going from being this to doing this? Like a moment, something that happened that you can share.
Yeah, there is. So I was actually thinking about this the other day, and there's actually a definitive moment. And I don't know if this was real or if this was kind of fabricated by my dad. But when I was a little kid, I was like 6 years old. There was like this old, dirty like futon out by the dumpster over here, and I had this idea that we should go down to the furniture store, and I should sell it to the owner of the furniture store because it's practically brand new. So I still don't know this to this day, but right. my dad brought me down to the furniture store. The manager walked out, handed me $100 bill, and we gave him the futon. And that was like the root of my entrepreneurial spirit right there. It was just ignited.
And pushed the button.
Yeah, and that felt so good. Even as a 6-year-old, somebody to sell a product to somebody and get economic value from that. So ever since then, I've been striving to get that feeling. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that was like probably the pivotal moment. That was like one of the things that I got from my parents that really helped me set this course of action into motion.
Yeah, just the fact that your dad actually took you to the store. Like my mom actually bought my first bike for me, believe it or not, on my sister's birthday. So how random is that? Like yours started in a dumpster, mine started on my sister's birthday, So it just you never know how it's going to happen or whatever. And a lot of people don't even know what that actual moment is. And it's good to know that like, this is where it started right here. Like you started out in a dumpster.
Yeah, that's where it started.
It all started in a dumpster. So Steve Jobs started in a garage, you started in a dumpster. you got them beat there.
Yeah.
So awesome, James. This is so awesome to be able to share this with everybody. If you want to put a little thing out there about Wrapify and maybe tell people a little about it or where it's going, it's up to you.
Sure. So Wrapify is a crowdsourced ad platform that pays consumer drivers to advertise on their vehicle. Advertisers can log in, create a campaign, and then within 7 days, we get cars on the road. Drivers can sign up and now monetize their daily commute. They make extra cash doing something that they're already doing, driving to work, dropping off their kids at school, going to the grocery store. They're going to get paid for those miles.
So basically, they're a driving advertising bulletin board, so to speak.
Essentially, yeah.
And you wrap the whole car. There's different options that they can do.
Exactly. So drivers get the choice of the ad campaign and the brand. Mm-hmm. You also get to choose the amount of wrap coverage on your vehicle between a full, a partial, and a panel. You could download our app. It's in the App Store. You could sign up to become a driver. We put you through a pretty quick process. Make sure that there's no felons driving around with ads on their car. And you go from making nothing on the road to actually monetizing your commute.
Awesome. So how many drivers are you out there now in San Diego?
So we have
nationwide or whatever?
We have between San Diego and San Francisco, which are our two beta markets, we have over 1,500 drivers signed up. And we have 5 advertisers that are on the platform today with roughly 40 cars on the road.
Wow. So you heard it. This is the beginning stages of Wrapify. Like you're hearing it right now. This is a legendary.
This is it. We officially launched Tuesday.
Yeah. So this is it.
week.
So this is going to be a podcast to remember. So we're gonna do another one in like 6 months and see where things go, and it'll be fun to.
Yeah. Hopefully, all my advice actually worked.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So awesome, everybody. James Heller here, my old neighbor, from dumpster to BMX racing to motorcycle racing to car racing to a marketing genius to starting Wrapify. And I'm excited to see what his future is and learn more. I'm certainly going to go by the facility and check out more about what they're doing. But we want to thank you guys for coming by. And if you want to say the website, maybe Wrapify.com.
Yeah, definitely. So
Wrapify.com. Go by and check it out. It's pretty cool. So that's it for today, everybody. Such a great podcast here today, and I'm really excited to have our next one on in the next few days. So we'll be checking in with you guys soon. Again, thanks for listening, and if you have any information you want to send James or myself, please contact us through either Wrapify or CodieDog.com. And that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.